What is up, guys? It is Mighty Man DGBA here, your coach of the West Bromwich Altarias, and I am back today for week 2 of the DGBA season 6. We are up against JP of the Benfinneons. I believe JP got a really strong win in week 1, so we'll be hoping to bounce back from our loss to Parksy and pick up a win against JJ to really show that we mean business this season, because he is looking like he could be a very strong contender going forwards. So let's jump straight into the battle. Actually, before we do, we'll just go over the teams very quickly. I've brought the new combo of a Weavile as well as Nidoking. Weavile, obviously, I traded from Coach Oak, and Nidoking I traded from Hughes. We also have Scolipede, we have Mega Altaria, we have Crabominable again, and we have Raikou. So as we jump in, we see that he starts off with his Mega Kangaskhan. I start off with the Raikou, and of course, as always, they lead off with the Fake Out. Now, I didn't actually bring any Rocky Helmet this week, which, if you watch the PRs last week against, that me and Parksy did, you'll remember that we said about Gengar Raichu he really should have bought Rocky Helmet to deal with the Mega Kangaskhan, and even though I didn't do that this week, I believed that I had enough to deal with the Mega Kang without having the Rocky Helmet, so that's why I didn't bring it, and we'll see if I do have what it takes as we go through the battle. So he goes for Fake Out first turn, and then switches out into Donphan as I go for the Aura Sphere. Does about a quarter there, but I have to switch out because of the Donphan threat as he goes for Earthquake. And I realised I didn't really have too much for Donphan. It would have had to have been Altaria that I switched into, but that still comes under threat from the likes of an Ice Shard or a Stone Edge. I switched into Scolipede here. I didn't expect the Earthquake to do this much damage, I'll be completely honest. I didn't calc the damage for the Scolipede would take, but I did find out that this was a fairly offensive Donphan, I believe. So I've got Scolipede in here now, and he goes for the Ice Shard, which is a big mistake on his behalf. I believe he was expecting the Altaria there. I just go for Spikes, get myself the speed boost. Obviously, go for a Poison Jab here, just to get a little bit of chip off on the Donphan. Was maybe hoping for the poison. I could have gone for another set of Spikes. Also, I thought he might have switched into Togekiss or something to start defogging. So I was maybe thinking maybe I could catch the Togekiss. Didn't turn out that way, unfortunately. He did just then kill Scolipede with Earthquake. So I went into Weavile here. He switches into Forretress as I go for the knockoff, doing quite a bit of damage there. I realised as well, last turn when I went for the Poison Jab, he was just as likely, probably more likely, to bring in this Forretress and Rapid Spin away the Spikes, so Poison Jab probably wasn't the play to make. But again, it's all in the past. We've got Weavile in now. We've knocked off the leftovers of the Forretress. I didn't want to take a Gyro Ball, so went into Nidoking here on the Gyro Ball. Took quite a fair bit of damage, but managed to knock out the Forretress with Earth Power. He then brings in Togekiss, and he reveals by outspeeding my Nidoking that he is in fact Choice Scarf Togekiss. So we get knocked out here, and sorry, I should say I knew it was Scarf because my Nidoking was Scarf. So it had to be Scarf Togekiss to outspeed. I went into Raikou to force the Togekiss out. He goes into Donphan as I go for a Hidden Power Ice, which does quite a lot. He goes for the Ice Shard, a little bit of chip, and then I finish off the Donphan with the Hidden Power Ice. He then goes into the Toxapex, which I thought was an interesting decision. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I did actually switch out into the Crabominable, as it gets poisoned. So I then decided to go for an Earthquake, which does about half of the Toxapex's health, after the bit of Black Sludge recovery and the spikes. But he does go for the Recover, so there's not a lot I can do there. He goes for Recover again. Sorry, as I switch in Raikou, he then switches out his Toxapex into the Alolan Raichu, but I was fully expecting him to switch out the Toxapex, so we go for the nice Shadow Ball and catch the Raichu on the switch and knock it out, which is it was a big threat to my team. So in comes the Mega Kangaskhan here. I switch back out into Crabominable. Crabominable's use is getting shorter, or sorry, less and less, especially because I know that the Togekiss is scarfed. I wouldn't have outspeeded anyway, but it was definitely going to kill at that point with whatever it went for. Here I go into the Altaria. I do Mega Evolve just in case he has Ice Punch. Take a lot of damage there from the return. Go for a Hyper Voice. It doesn't quite kill, but does do a lot of damage. Nice and 54%, which allows me here to go into Weavile, and I can just go for pretty much anything at this point. I do in fact go for a knockoff, catch the Toxapex switch, do 48%, which is nice. Then go into Raikou here on the Toxic, and at this point I was getting very concerned that his Scarf Togekiss was going to win him the game. He goes into, he keeps his Toxapex in to take that Thunderbolt. Goes into Mega Kangaskhan here. I switch out into Weavile because I need to keep the Specs Raikou to kill the Togekiss. Go for an Ice Shard here, kill the Mega Kang. Sorry, I need to change what I was saying there. I had to switch Raikou out because it would have died to the Fake Out, and I thought that I would need the health on the Raikou more to potentially live an Air Slash, because I knew that Weavile wouldn't. I go for the Ice Shard here, do 63%, because I thought that Togekiss was at speed with the Scarf. He goes for Dazzling Gleam, and it's looking like I might be losing here, but then I go for the Thunderbolt and actually outspeed his Togekiss, which, if he was Scarfed, his Togekiss would have speed crept to me by 1. Sorry, not if he was... if he had prepped properly, he would have outsped me by 1. However, he miscalced or something. Basically, before this, JP had a Togekiss set in mind, which was, I believe, 96 speed investment, which would speed creep the Raikou by 1 with the Choice Scarf. But he changed it after he was all prepped to 56, so it didn't outspeed our Raikou. So in the end, we actually didn't need to Ice Shard with the Weavile. Although Weavile was Choice Banded, so once we Ice Sharded the Mega Kangaskhan, there wasn't much else we could have done. And also Icicle Crash, having that chance to miss, would have been risky switching out Raikou and everything. If we just switched out the Raikou to take the initial hit from the Togekiss and then switched back into Weavile. I mean, first off, we didn't know we'd outspeed. Secondly, Icicle Crash had the chance to miss, so a very, very close battle against JP in the end. Kind of just rambled at the end there. I think the start was a little bit dodgy with how I played in terms of Scolipede. His Donphan could have been a big problem if I hadn't have sorted that out when I did. Mega Kangaskhan is always a big problem. Luckily we had a couple of mons that outspared, and a mon in Altaria that could live a hit and do a lot of damage back. So we do pick up the win against JP. I think the prediction for the Alolan Raichu coming in, and the prediction for I'm trying to think where it was. I made another prediction some point in the battle, which I think was a really good switch. I think as well, getting Crabominable in on that initial Toxic to sort of prevent Raikou from taking another couple of turns of Toxic really helped, because if I'd have taken extra Toxic damage at certain points, I would have played it differently, I think. But yeah, we do manage to scrape a very close win against JP to move 1-1. We do have JJ next week, so hopefully we can pick up another good result against him and sort of get a bit of form going. Because when you if you lose a match, then you win a match, you want to sort of ride that momentum as opposed to picking up another defeat. But yeah, so next week we will have the battle against JJ. But for now, I'll see you soon.